On the 15th of March 2020, the government of Malaysia announced the Movement Control Order, MCO, to stop the spread of COVID-19. In line with this order, Wilmar management produced a standard operating procedure that complies with MCO as well as allows us to operate safely in the midst of the pandemic. Social distancing is implemented as well as daily temperature checking for all workers. Masks are also provided and it is compulsory for everyone to use them. Anyone with a temperature above 37.5 degrees Celsius would not be allowed to work, isolated and sent for further checks and treatments as required. Our concerns are not confined to the estates, but also extend to other operating units such as palm oil mills. Similar precautionary measures are also implemented at the mill, including hand sanitation, temperature checks, and additional measures to prevent physical contact. Field works are limited to core operations such as manuring, harvesting, loading, and fresh fruit bunch transport. Precautionary measures are also strictly adhered to during operations. Despite the disruption caused by this pandemic, our highly committed employees continue to strive for high levels of productivity and quality. All outsiders are not allowed to enter the estate, whilst all employees and residents entering or exiting have the temperatures checked and recorded as per company standard operating procedure. Similar precautionary measures of distancing, mask usage and good hand hygiene are also practiced at the mills. Our collective efforts ensure that we are able to operate efficiently despite the challenges posed by this pandemic. Hand washing facilities have been installed at the entrances of our offices. Everyone is required to wash their hands and have their temperatures checked before entering. To ensure social distancing, employees have been assigned to work 2 different shifts with only half of them present at any time. All high foot traffic areas and touch surfaces are regularly disinfected. Even our workshops are not exempt from these precautionary measures. Places of worship have been closed to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Congregational prayers were not allowed. However, the devout continued to pray at home. Our clinics are working closely with the State Health Department in the handling of COVID-19. This involves ensuring that the department's standard operating procedures are adhered to, as well as conducting health talks and giving health advice. As advised by the State Health Department, we converted our Estate Humana schools into quarantine centers to isolate workers returning from abroad. Food and all other basic necessities were provided by the company during the entire quarantine period of 14 days. These precautionary measures are also applied at the estate shops, with the customers being limited to only 5 at a time. Additionally, residents who wish to go out of the estate must first obtain approval from the management and also fill a health and movement declaration form. We have even started a home delivery service for the workers' wages. Prior to MCO, workers would collect their wages from the office. Since MCO, wages are brought to the individual workers' houses. Even though we are unable to operate at full capacity during MCO, all workers are still paid full wages. Our Sandakan regional office also practiced social distancing. All employees were required to wear masks, have their temperatures taken, and sanitize their hands. Half of the employees would be physically present in the office, and the other half worked from their homes. Meetings were only conducted if absolutely necessary or for urgent matters, with limited numbers attending and social distancing observed throughout the meeting. Visitors, contractors, and suppliers were not allowed into our office building. A temporary counter was set up at the office entrance to facilitate their transactions. During these challenging times, our Sandakan Regional Office have been coordinating efforts between state authorities and our various operating units in the fight against COVID-19. Our plantation head, Mr. Gurcharan Singh, officiated a program to distribute aid in the form of rice, flour, sugar, cooking oil, and the workers' favorite chocolate malt drink. This program was initiated because MCO hindered our workers' ability to obtain provisions. This also coincided with the upcoming cultural celebrations of Hari Raya, Kaamatan, and Gawai. It took us nearly a week to distribute all the aid to all the workers. As there was a shortage of surgical masks at the hospitals near our operations, Wilmar endeavoured to procure and managed to import 25,000 surgical masks, which we then distributed to the hospitals around our operating areas.
Terima kasih kepada pihak Wilmar kerana sentiasa memantau keadaan kami di sini supaya bebas dari penyakit corona.
Kami bekerja mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada company Wilmar. Company Wilmar sangat bagus.
Dan kami semua faham bahawa ini semua untuk menjaga diri kita sendiri daripada terkena daripada penyakit wabak COVID-19.
Wilmar the best.
Wilmar is the best.
Wilmar is the best.
Wilmar terbaik.
Wilmar terbaik.
Wilmar terbaiklah.
Wilmar good. Terima kasih banyak.
Wilmar terbaik.
Wilmar terbaik.
Wilmar terbaik.
Wilmar the best.
Terima kasih.
Saya amat bersyukur kepada serikat kita Wilmar yang amat prihatin, terbaik.
Pihak Wilmar amat prihatin dan terbaik. Syukur sangat sampai sekarang dapat bantuan.
Syukur alhamdulillah, saya berterima kasih karena ada bantuannya. Saya bersyukur, terima kasih.
Wilmar cares.